Canola plays an important and valuable role in the cropping system, and controlling weeds is vital. ADAMA Tenet Herbicide provides up to a 12-week residual control of annual grasses and broadleaf weeds. The key weeds include annual ryegrass, barleygrass, bromegrass, and capeweed. Today, we are joined by Alistair Crawford from ADAMA, who will be talking to us about how you can use Tenet in your chemical rotation program and assist in your canola production system. First, let's take a look at the trial.
Yeah, welcome to the ADAMA solution site at Elmore. This is where we, market development managers like myself, get to play around with different products, look at different situations. This just happens to be a really weedy site. So there's a lot of silvergrass, ryegrass, barleygrass and a little bit of bromegrass here. So it's a fantastic site to look at different chemistries on grass weeds. There aren't many broadleaf weeds because they can't compete with the grasses, but it's a fantastic place to have a look at where we've got ultro, and we've got a matrix behind me where we're looking at ultro, we're looking at priority as a post-emergent treatment, and some knockdowns, and obviously knockdowns like platinum for barleygrass and ryegrass. Right, here we are at canola. This time it's TT canola, but this time we're looking at different treatments post-emergent. So this whole block actually had triflurin on it, so because the weed pressure was so high that we decided to put triflurin on pre-emergent, 2 litres, just to reduce the pressure. So there's still 800 plants per square metre of silvergrass here and 200 plants per square metre of ryegrass, so it's actually amazingly high considering, in the untreated that is, considering it had triflurin on it. So, and obviously a lot in the furrow as well. So what we've done here is done the triflurin and then we've used the post-emergent products. So Tenet at different rates post to have a look, and then we've done some mixes with 750 mils of Tenet with platinum. So we've mixed platinum and oil with it and see what results we get. So the weed control here is actually quite amazing. So the Tenet post is very good on silvergrass and good on ryegrass. So it's had sort of 90% control post on silvergrass and probably 85%, 80%, depending on which treatment, on the ryegrass. So it's really quite amazing. So the idea is that we use it post and we'll get some residual. So it'll help the grass herbicide work, whatever herbicide it's mixed with, and then you get residual control from then on the ryegrass or silvergrass or barleygrass. It's actually on barleygrass as well, which is also here. So yeah, it looks really good, looks great as another option post, because we've got very few options post in canola, so it's really got a good place. Untreated has obviously got 800 plants per square metre, and here it's got 150 plants per square metre for ryegrass. And the Tenet at 750 mils has been amazing. It's done an 85% control of the silvergrass and close to 90% on the ryegrass, because the ryegrass is less pressure, so you actually get better control. And then the mixes, you're getting any mix with platinum. We've also got proviso mixes in here, but anything with platinum or farmazine is getting pretty well 100%, 95 to 100% in all treatments. So it's amazing how well it's worked. So Treflan, followed by a mix with the grass herbicide plus Tenet or farmazine, is getting really good control.
A great video by Elle there. For now, I'll be handing back to Elle to do a bit more of a presentation and answer any questions you might have.
Sorry that we had stuff about my trial in Elmore, but COVID sort of made it rather difficult to get down south to do the trial there. So we had a trial at Southern Farming Systems, and I actually put the data together last night. So it's really interesting. It actually reflects what we've got, about 7 of these trials throughout Victoria. So we're looking at Tenet pre in mixes, and then we're looking at early post-emergent, mixing Tenet with other herbicides to improve the weed control and get residual. So at the trial site, it was shown on the 3rd of the 5th, it's Ignite TT canola. So looking at TT canola, which is the main one. And then, so most of the treatments are IBS, and then we're looking at some early post-emergent stuff as well. So this is safeties. This is an index from 1 to 10, and 10's the safest and 1's dead. It was interesting that really didn't get, you've got this rate range. So all these are done IBS. So that's Tenet from 750 mil, which is on the label, through to 1.8. This soil type, to use 1.8, you've got to be about 40% clay. It's actually got a clay requirement on the label to rate. And 1.8 you wouldn't use in this soil type, although it's relatively safe here. It hasn't been too bad, although it's probably has been a like 10-15% biomass reduction. So Overwatch, we had in all the trials with that Overwatch, the safety is very similar to sort of 1.5 litres of Tenet in most situations, but there's no significant difference in damage, in vigour at this site. Obviously we're throwing out. So these are all IBS, these ones, but this is Rustler used IBS, and then early post-emergent gone at 4, 6 leaf stage with Tenet. And we've got Tenet just by itself there, and mixes with atrazine and platinum. So you're getting the grass herbicide mixed. You'd never normally use Tenet by itself post. You'd always mix it with a knockdown. Platinum will be on the label. So 750 mils plus platinum will be on the label next year. So just looking at grass weed control, this is the rate range from 750 mil just by itself right through to 1.8 of Tenet. It's interesting, in all my grass weed control trials, I haven't seen any difference between 1.8 to 1.5. 1.5 is generally doing a pretty good job. It needs rainfall. Tenet, which was butazan, is quite mobile. It's quite mobile in soil. It's reasonably water soluble. So it actually moves quite well, which is exactly the opposite to most of the pre-emerge we're using canola at the moment, which we'll show some mixes in a minute. So even by itself at this site, you're getting pretty good control. So that's pretty high level of control. It's probably as good as you're going to get, really. So the reason I'm looking at mixes is I like the idea. Rustler, which is pyrazimide, is very insoluble. Overwatch is very insoluble, immovable. All these weeds, so only getting sort of 80% control with these alone, or Trilogy, 2 litres, probably the best by itself, 90%. They're very immobile, but Tenet is quite mobile. So you tend to get better. So most of the improved control here, so every time you add Tenet, you're actually getting improvement and a significant improvement in control in basically every situation. So, and that's basically better in furrow weed control. So it's able to move and get better in furrow weed control. And you've also got the post-emergent, so you use Rustler first and come back with Tenet. You get very good control and exceptional control. Obviously, you got these mixes, you Rustler first, and then using the mixes, and you get very high levels of control. So the idea is put Tenet in mixes to improve the mobility, get a bit of herbicide in the furrow, and get control. You use lower rates of Tenet, which gives greater safety work. So just a few quick photos. So this is untreated. This is Treflan Tenet mix. So you see the dramatic, really dramatic control compared. This is 2 litres of Treflan versus 2 litres plus Tenet. And you see there's just little grasses, don't look like much now. There's little grasses that are in the furrow, and they sort of take off over time. And so you're only getting sort of, 85% control here, and you're getting 95% control here. Any questions?
We do have a couple of questions for you. What is Tenet's mixability like with other products, and what are your recommended mixtures pre-em?
Yeah, so all those mixtures, so triflurin or permazimide are sort of our probably preferred mixing. Avidex, you can also mix with Avidex as well. Probably the preferred mixing partners. Treflan is really safe in canola, so a lot of people are using 3 litres of Treflan in canola. Generally mixes with all those things. The big issue with Tenet in mixing is K salts with a lot of the preends, including Rustler, Tenet, Ultra, Overwatch, K-salt glyphosates. So the high-low glyphosates with the K-salt can cause issues. Some of the lower loading K-salts tend to be better, but you need to mix them and agitate and put them out quickly. It's certainly incompatible with some of the really all straight K-salts. It's incompatible. So that's going to be something that we'll have to educate people to either go to an amine salt or do a low load K-salt and mix and spray. So but it mixes with all the other. So it has Treflan incompatible on the label. That'll come off because it's compatible. That works really well. So that'll come off the label next year.
Excellent. So then what are some of your recommendations for managing the annual ryegrass resistance problem we face?
Yeah, so generally I think Chris Preston and Peter Patsalis would say mix and rotate. So you want as many modes of action going on that paddock. You need a whole farm plan where you're thinking about what you're using, what mixes you're doing, what modes of action you're using in that paddock. And so that you're rotating the modes of action as best you possibly can. That's one reason I like using something else with Tenet. I really like the idea of using Treflan or permazimide up front, different mode of action, even mixes, and then you've got a group A, group K of Tenet, and other modes of action post. So it's whole farm planning really, because you've got to think about what you're doing. And keeping your fence lines clean and just some little things like that can make a difference.
Yeah, definitely. So then for the soil types we have in the Western Districts, what sort of rates of Tenet are you expecting to go out?
Yeah, so I like if you're using it I really like the idea of mixes. So either probably a litre to something like even 1.5 in some of the heavy. So 1.5 go 30% clay, and so basically a litre of mixes probably go or we're using it post the 750 mils with your clethodim, and you can use that in all the different systems. So it's safe on all the different, TT, Roundup Ready, IMI canolas. So yeah, that's the way I see it. I think 1.5 you will get some growth effects, so maybe 10 to 20%. So I'll be tending to use up to 1.2 depending on how heavy the soil is.
Awesome. And then are there any changes to the label we could perhaps look forward to either now or in the future?
Yeah, so this post-emergent application will come on the label next year. That'll only be 750 mils mixed with clethodim. You must mix a knockdown product with it because it does control ryegrass post, sort of up to 3 leaf, but not as well as like grass herbicide will. So the idea is to mix it, improve your grass weed control. So everything we mix Tenet with improves the weed control. I actually haven't done anything where we've seen less weed control by mixing. So most of the time you're getting an improvement. So that'll go on the label. And we'll also look at, hopefully, get the opportunity to look at higher rates on the label post. Treflan will come off as incompatibility. That'll happen. And hopefully we'll be able to look at higher rates. The post-emergent application is only up to 3 leaf at this stage. So it's from a fully expanded 1 leaf it's only 3 leaves, so we need to do that as well. We need to look at later applications as well. So hopefully that will, Adam will let me do that